So the big thing, Ethan, is that we're going to call it the architectural technologist. Hope you're happy with that name.
That's fine. That's good.
And and the other thing is really to talk about what we think we're going to cover. And based on the conversations we had earlier, um, I thought there's so much knowledge that you and I have got that it would be really good to have those sort of conversations where we start a topic and we cover what we know, but really about architectural technology and so on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about because we, even though it may not be not so important for us, but even the small conversations might be quite important, and young students or some people in the industry might pick it up and find it useful. So that's why we thought about starting a podcast like this would be helpful for and contribute knowledge to the industry.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that started us off was that conversation I had with Robert about whether we start teaching people 2D drafting with the CAD software, or my idea is jump them into 3D so that they get an instant win. They build a little house. They see how much fun it is, and
Yeah.
that's a conversation I think which is really important. What should we teach?
Yeah, there's a debate. I think I was at the debate in in the meetings, and there were some tutors talking about, let's say, let's stick to the drawing board, old style fashions, and give more times on the drawing, traditional times of drawing lines and drawing those things. And you came out and saying that debate, saying that okay, why not? The technology is available, and the industry is now using only the digital drawings, and why not teaching the students and let them expose and see the products in 3D. And the debate has been happening, and it is swinging back and forth. So that's good. Actually, that's a good thing to have a debate also, because what about, another things you propose is like, let's only teach about the drawing board for 1 month, how
Hmm.
we have done in the past, and the rest of the rest of the programs will be teaching only in BIM, or all the CAD tools, so that it's for me, my perspective is that it's the industry is, when somebody go and apply for the job, it's, do you know ArchiCAD, do you know Revit? That's it. So if you don't, then somebody's coming, oh, I don't know AutoCAD, I don't know Revit, I only know how to draw a drawing board, and I'm very proficient in it. He won't get a job, right? So it's good to prepare, and proficiency in what the industry wants. That's what I think, and also that's what you have been advocating for, is that you can draw the whole elevations, sections, drawings within 20 minutes, or maybe more if it's not proficient, maybe 3 hours for a newbies, right? So because he needs to figure out bells and whistle of the software, but the technology is available, and it can be happens, and let the students to experience. For example, like one teaching sessions is about 3 hours, right? So within 3 hours, a teachers, we can guide. Okay, at the end of the class, you'll finish a simple house, maybe a square shaped house, and with walls, windows, ins, and roof ins, all the that kind of things could happen. So that's it. It is. We couldn't do it in traditional drawing board things. We couldn't able to do it in AutoCAD, traditional AutoCAD things, but we can do it in current technologies such as all the BIM software, right? That's a good debate about that. And for me, I'm a bit swing to the CAD industry things. The BIM and the 3D, draw the 3Ds in, make the drawings in 3D. And there is another research is saying that when some schools, they research like let the students to draw in what is that, a SketchUp software. SketchUp is quite a free hand. It is not BIM software. They can do other things as well. And the result is that students are, the end product of architecture, or it's more. It's quite different from what we used to in the drawing board, and it's like a because they start thinking in 3D of their product, and which is much better for architecturally, at least for the form.
Yeah,
You know,
the, the challenge I've got with SketchUp is that if you teach the students SketchUp and then they work in ArchiCAD, they then have to relearn everything using ArchiCAD or Revit. And once we've taught the students something like ArchiCAD, Revit is so much easier for them to learn. But
yeah,
we're actually having the conversation that we would probably have in one of our podcasts anyway. And what I was
yeah,
thinking was we should really sort of but these are the sort of conversations that we would have. Yesterday I
yeah,
went out for my scooter ride and I was with an architect, and she and I worked in the same office many years ago, and we were talking about, and she'd be someone I'd love to interview, but we were talking about how we were taught to draw. We had the luxury of working in an office where my drawings had to be approved. I'd get sent back to the drawing board if the
yeah,
drawings weren't good enough. And it really taught me how to, because drawings are set to communicate. And, there's loads of conversations we can have about that. But it was just interesting to talk to somebody else. She's trained as totally as an architect, but she does all her own drawings. Um, so in a way, she is also an architectural technologist from that point of view.
yeah.
So these are the sort of things. I mean, there are so many people that I'd love to interview on as part of this podcast to get their thoughts about how they've done it, how they've learned, because I think there's so many things that we could share with people. You and I have got a lot of knowledge ourselves, but we also have connections to all the people in our industry. But you've got lots of architects over there that you're in connection with. I've got lots over here. We've got
Yeah.
people that we've met, around the country. It'd be really great to interview those people, get their thoughts about what we should be doing, what we should be teaching, what are the advantages and disadvantages of it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah. We need to explore the industry. For architectural, maybe there are the use of BIMs and architect CAD software, digital building software. How they have been, because this is the podcast is mainly focused on architectural technologies, but how we will be benefit how the industry will be benefited. So that's quite interesting topics that we need to look into it. And another thing is that what you mentioned is that the benefit of working in the office, which is the old styles. Now, what happened is that BIM has been starting from 2010s. It has been advocating that okay, we can send over to the different offices. Let's say engineering office, architectural office, and what they can do is that they can collaborate digitally, starting from the classroom, and it's getting more and more involved, and the spectrum has been quite wide. So, well, so go back to the first question: is that should we expose the students to do BIM as early as possible? I think that's a very,
absolutely.
yeah, we
Because
should.
BIM is such a big topic that
Yeah,
we need to. I mean, in a lot of ways, I don't tell them that it's BIM, um, but start them with a 3D model of a building because you can extract all the planes and elevations,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it shows them that first stage, that very first step. The next step, of course, is you put in doors and windows. They're not just an object, or they're just not just a thing. They're a door. You can then start to add the hardware to it. You can start to add the vision panels, and all that information can be extracted. But I just didn't want them to think of BIM as being a big thing that, oh God, I wanted to do architecture. I
no,
didn't want to have to
no.
learn.
Yeah, because another thing is, as an educators like us, we need to make sure the students are always excited of what they are seeing. Otherwise, they will, oh, I don't want to come to, I don't want to do that. It's like,
Oh, I don't want to go to
they need
CAD
to
class because
always,
it's boring.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, they need to be always excited and say, okay, today I'm adding window, today I'm adding dimensions, at least, something to excited for. And oh, I can lock the dimensions, if I, and also BIM is a parametric, so when they click the dimensions, then they can change the length of the wall or height of the wall. So that's quite interesting, and hopefully, yeah, that's a lot of things to learn, you know. So, well, I think
The,
drawing board is things in the past already. You know, just it's like a history class.
hmm.
No,
Well,
yeah,
it is in a way, but I mean, this is a conversation for once we get started, the drawing board. We can talk about that all day. Um,
yeah,
but one of the big things I think about teaching is early wins. That
yeah,
every
yeah.
day the student needs to come away from that class going, oh, that's cool. I learned, I can do this thing. And so that you can then build on that fun factor.
Another thing, another thing is that when you see drawing your products in 3D, it makes sense, which is very important because students or whoever, because the drawing board, 2D drawings, plans, and elevation, it doesn't make sense for most of the people. When you see 3D drawings, okay, you drew a house.
One of the things I wasn't sure we would talk about would be kind of the business of architecture. There's lots of other people doing the business of architecture, and I thought maybe we stay away from fees and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there are a lot of people talk. You know, when I look at the podcast on the Spotify, there are a lot of people talk about business architecture, how the architectural office set up, how to manage the people. I think that's another subject. You know, the peoples are covering. So we are talking about architectural technologies, which has been evolving. So, you know, from drawing board to CAD to BIMs, and how it has been involved, how technology has been involved, and how from architectural technologies level, architect levels, and the maybe other stakeholders, from be it from a small clients to the large clients, and how can it be benefited. Let's say, you know, it's very exciting because for a student, a young student to a small client, you know, so they can see, as long as when they see the, I know because I've been in the industry, and when the clients see the 3D drawings, oh, that's what you're talking about. That's, you know, it's the reaction is different when you show the 3D model. They act like they are cool. The clients like, okay, I know, that's good.
I sometimes think that we overemphasize the computer part of the
Yep.
3D and we play down the manual 3D sketching that's so
Yeah.
important because
Yeah.
there's quite often where I'm working with an architect and I'll hear what he's saying, I'll hear what he's asking, and then I'll sketch a three-dimensional one-point perspective of what I think he's talking about, and that allows him to see that I know what he's talking about. He can then correct anything that's not that's not what he wants.
Hmm.
And I've used it a lot where we're talking about the details of the building, these simple 3D sketches, and I'm
Yeah.
now going to incorporate those into my teaching about that.
Hmm.
But anyway, these are all the
Yeah.
sort of subjects I think we could spend ages talking about. So um, I think probably we should wrap it up and say to everyone who's listening, um,
Yeah.
thank you for listening. Really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
being here.
Thank you for listening,
Uh,
everyone.
hmm. All right. Thanks very much,
All
Ethan.
right. Thank you so
Catch
much.
you in the next
Bye.
session. So the next session, we just need a topic, and I think maybe we should carry on this topic of the 2D drawing to start with, and why we want to do it, and why I think I need to teach someone how to hold a
Yes.
pencil.
Yes. That's a good
All
idea.
right, Ethan. We'll
All right.
catch you later.
All right. See you next sessions. Bye.